So it's getting near the end of October. We're starting to really step into our fall and our fall colors. And so I started using the Pivo more and trying to work through some of my confidence issues, because at this point I had taken I had done some riding with him, I had done some lessons with him, and just found some holes in his training. He was afraid of the giant UPS truck, so I took a small topple there, and then I was in a few lessons where we were not exactly sure what we were trying to achieve. When I think back on all of that, I know that some of the things I was asked to do were like flex his head, and I remember the trainer saying, like, you know, to control his head. I think maybe that's a safety thing that they were after. I really don't think it worked for him, and I think it made him like afraid or confused, and that usually would make him do like the sideways scooch. And then I hung on pretty good, but I had a few topples there, which is, I totally know, a part of how riding goes, and you're gonna have falls, and that's fine. I think moving forward, what I truly learned in all of this is you need to take it slow, you need to do it step by step, and just see where your horse is, especially when you're buying a horse that's not like young and that you're starting from the beginning. So I'm kind of trying to find my way with that in these rides. One thing that I learned from this ride is you don't want to move the mounting block. You want to move them around the mounting block, and you stay on it and stay stable, and they learn to move around you. So that was a live and learn. So I created a little scootiness for a while because I kept doing that, and then once I realized if I just stay on the mounting block, it makes the mounting so much easier, and it makes him stand still. So that was something that I learned there. And then as I moved into these rides, I was just trying to find a more calm, forward horse. And I think I started to find that in my like October, November rides. And unfortunately, in the month of December, we had wild snow and things like that, and then he got injured, so I wasn't able to ride for like 4 months. So we'll talk about that in some of the future videos, but I wanted to show you what rides I was able to capture on video before all of that happened. And I felt like we were on our way at the time. Like, I felt like we were getting somewhere with him being a little more relaxed, a little more forward, and just trying to explore that and just learn for myself, you know, like learn how to use the reins well. And that's some of the things now that I'm working with trainers, that as we progress through this year, hopefully I can share what I'm learning, and you will get to see us transform together. So that was kind of my hope with documenting of this story. As I move forward, I can look back and be like, wow, look what we did there. So I'll kind of let you watch us ride, just some walk and trot as we try to explore this. It's not by any means an eventful video or anything wild is going to happen. Don't really love capturing those memories to replay in my videotape of mind. I'd rather remember the positives of what we do together and watch us grow and build a better partnership. So I don't plan on being a YouTuber sensation that tries to capture people with negative wild horse moments. This is more about like really how you train your horse and how calm it should be, in my opinion. So to each their own. Everybody, creates their YouTube video for different reasons, but this is truly just to document our journey and how we train and what we do to make that successful. So I'll let you kind of watch for a little bit, and if I think I should pop on, I will. And like I mentioned in the last video, you can always comment with questions. as you can see, as we near this particular ride, my main goal was to just find a nice, relaxed, willing forward. I'm not doing like heavy trotting or any cantering with him at this time because his hoof is still growing out, and I just don't want anything to injure that, as he doesn't have a full hoof capsule there. And we finally worked him out of that lameness and some of those things. So as we went forward with this, just working on leg cues, working on forward, relaxed, willing, and I feel like I got a lot of that. His head was still a little bit high in tension at times, so that's something that I'm working on now, that I'm hopeful will get better with time as we move forward this year. But this way you can see some of our early rides, and then compare as we move along. So just wanted to share some of that with you, and I really appreciate, the learning steps to all of this, and just the amount of patience that you have to have. So yeah, that's where we're at in that ride, and thanks for watching.